Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust. Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers comprehensive auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus, benefits like 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything, from making the claim through the repair process to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits. A $2,000 value, free.
Visit EnduranceWarranty.com for your fast free quote today. That's EnduranceWarranty.com.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
Welcome back to Talking Shit, where we are talking all sorts of shit. Schitt's Creek, that is. Today, we are wrapping up season 5 of Schitt's Creek. I'm Jess Sterling, and of course, as always, I am joined by someone who I didn't prep this ahead of time. Let's see. Who will probably have a very different character rankings than I will. Stuart, how are you?
As someone who knows the spoilers for the character rankings, yes, I will. We deviate quite a bit on quite a few, I will say. But that's going to be coming up. Season 5 wrap up. This is obviously like the worst period of time for like me as a first time watcher of this show and having to watch it week by week, because this means 2 weeks because of this stupid wrap-up episode that I have to wait an extra week. But it's kind of good because we get to kind of review the whole thing in a big kind of lump and look at the whole season. But it also does mean that as soon as we're over with this, I can finally start season 6.
Yeah.
But it also comes with sad emotions because season 6, Jess, is the last one. There's no more.
Season. I can't believe it. I truly can't. It feels like it's flown by. Not to get ahead of ourselves, but season 5 was so great, and I'm really excited to talk everything through because I started a rewatch earlier in the week just to kind of remind myself, honestly, mostly for the character rankings, because this was the hardest character rankings to do. I found it extremely difficult. I feel like there were 3 people that could have all gotten the top spot. And then even in that second tier of characters, it was very difficult for me. So either way, I was like, I'm going to start rewatching, remind myself the beginning of the season, whatever. And it's so fun. It's so good. It is such a good season for every character, really, including like some side characters versus the Roses themselves. It's good for everybody. So Stuart, I mean, obviously, I feel like we talked this to death already, but like season 5, it's incredible. It's the best. It's top tier. Like we say it, I think every time we stop down to talk about this, because every guest that we've had on early on would like, okay, it's good now, it gets better. And I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, I imagine there'll be an uptick. The writing's going to get a bit like kind of sharper, and I'm going to be more emotionally invested. So of course it's going to get better. That was a given. But the show has just
blown upwards in that trajectory. It is so funny, and it hits so hard with the emotional beats, with the plot progression. Like, it's firing on all cylinders, and I'm so glad of it because, for one thing, it means that all of our guests aren't awful liars, so I can trust their opinions on things, which is fantastic. But also, it means that we get to watch a really great show, which is like the best thing, because there's nothing, I think, worse than podcasting about something you don't really like. And so it's a joy to like come here and talk about this. It's, I think, on the other hand, it's like, if you don't like what you're podcasting about, maybe you can rip into it a little.
That's the thing. The worst is to feel nothing about whatever we are watching. Apathy is the worst. If I hate something, I can rage about it, and that's very fun. Rarely do I hate anything on Schitt's Creek beyond the Stevie and David kiss, which I still don't like. But I really love everything they do, especially this season. So let's start doing some character breakdowns here. Because I want to start with our patriarch, as we always do, Mr. Johnny Rose. Johnny has an interesting season, and I feel like, while he usually does play like a supportive role, I feel like he's almost perfected the supportive role in this season.
It was so funny because, like, I think more people have kind of stepped into the forefront in this season, like Stevie and like obviously we've had like the Ted and Alexis kind of resolution of sorts, and we've had like David and Patrick obviously flourishing, and as the spotlight kind of gets thrust upon others, it means that Eugene Levy is allowed to just permanently kind of like hang back a little bit, let all of those people flourish, and does so fantastically well. And yeah, like you said, it's almost like he's perfected it, because I don't think really there's a Johnny story this season, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, I think I'm hesitant to agree with that completely, because it feels like he is making small improvements to the motel over time. I think it's just that he doesn't have a huge standout moment, right? Like he wins a hospi, like he really feels Moira's absence when she's gone. I feel like that plus the love letter storyline really kind of hones in on what makes Johnny and Moira such a fun couple and such a rootable couple, or kind of those two storylines he gets. And then a lot of the other ones are more support places, but in ways that are necessary. Like when he's babysitting Roland and Jocelyn's baby, right? Like it is both hysterical, and it feels like he wants to prove that he's a good father, when he, in my opinion, spends all season proving how good of a father he is. Like, maybe he wasn't the most attentive and available parent when the kids were younger, but he is making up for lost time. I'm thinking of the baseball storyline where he doesn't care if his team wins as long as David is doing well and David feels supported. And when Patrick is coming out to his parents, I feel like Johnny has a very understated role in all of that, where he is supporting David and trying to make sure that they're not going to hurt David as a result of like maybe a poor reaction to that coming out news. So while he doesn't have kind of a storyline solely dedicated to himself, he is so supportive of other characters that I feel like I don't want that to go unnoticed by us, because we've been hard on Johnny in the past for like maybe being cringy occasionally. And, he does some dad stuff, but he really, in my opinion, goes above and beyond this season to make everyone feel supported and helped, and so that they can shine, right? What is it Maury says? When one of us shines, we all shine. It feels like that's what he's doing, and including Stevie. I don't want to leave her out, right? Like him really being there for her at the hospi episode when Amir breaks things off with her. It's just, he really does go above and beyond to support those around him.
Yeah, and he doesn't, like you say, he doesn't shy away from the whole cringe moments of him being like quite a dad in the whole thing. Like he puts his foot in it, as he always does, which I would be disappointed if he didn't, because I mean that's just part of who he is. But I think that it's a good thing to shine a light on Johnny and just like kind of acknowledge that he is a great like foundational character here, and the others aren't able to thrive unless he is that foundation. Like, does a lot of the Stevie stuff hit unless Johnny is there to kind of like bolster her up and like kind of proud of her in some aspects, to be supportive of her in others. The same with Moira as well, like Moira doing the same with Stevie. Like these two, like it's difficult for Moira to be considered a supportive character because she pulls focus so much.
Right.
But like the two of them operate in a very kind of like similar kind of thing. They are beginning to kind of like just push, or like what was it that Moira said in Cabaret? It's like you just stayed under the wing for so long, fly. Like it's that you have to. They have to kind of do that to allow the spotlight to kind of really be shone on them. And yeah, it's an important role to have. But like we've said, Johnny has perfected it. And I don't think that's detrimental. I think you can have there not be like an A storyline with Johnny, and it can just be the motel's improving like here or there. They're getting some good reviews, like they're turning things around. It's becoming, I'm not sure if they've even talked about it, but I feel like it's becoming profitable, at least. Like it feels like it's becoming a bit of a success.
Yeah.
And so like that I think is great, because if he is a supportive character and he is off to the sidelines just kind of like cheering them on and kind of being there, that's all that we really need from, I guess, from story-wise from him. I don't really need him to be embroiled in any big dramas or any kind of major profound movements. I'm content with Johnny just being Johnny and thriving. It's really lovely to see. And it was nice to not be down on Johnny all the time, because I think before it was always Johnny does the cringe things, but he kind of leans into it maybe a bit too much and makes some really poor and silly decisions. And like now I'm like, Johnny's just got his head screwed on. He's just a clumsy old dad. Like,
yeah, and I think there's a difference between being a supportive character and being more of an absent character. Like there were seasons where we complained that it felt like Stevie was barely around, and when she was only there to service other storylines. I never really felt like that with Johnny, because when he was in scenes, he was like directing things. He was managing the motel. And even though he's supporting these other characters, it does feel like he's making a difference in the show and in the relationships that he has. So I don't know. This might be Johnny's best season yet. I don't know. I mean, it might be all of their characters' best season yet, because it kind of build on each other. But I love Johnny this season. I really do. I think like, especially the smaller moments when he's gifting Alexis the picture frame at the end of the season and they're holding hands, and it's just so sweet. Like him finding out of David and Patrick's engagement and not being annoyed that he didn't know sooner, not being annoyed that other people found out before him, but just being so happy for them. Like he's our unproblematic fave. You know what I mean? Like he's just like dad. He is dad.
Yeah, he really is. I feel like his whole character took a real turning point at Merry Christmas, Johnny Rose. Like that was almost like it was his like a Christmas Carol type kind of like, oh, I'm seeing all of like the aspects of like everything. It's after that point, like I think he's really found an appreciation of like, okay, yeah, his life is dramatically different than what it was. Now he is seeing that they do appreciate him and they do love him, and it's just exhibited in different ways. And I think he's learned to accept that, and it's made him just more comfortable in his own skin and where he is. And like Johnny seems to have just accepted their lives now. Moira, on the other hand, still very resistant to that. But like it's great to see it from Johnny. Freaking long enough. Like it's taken 5 seasons, but
I think once he decided on the motel as like an option for him, we get to see almost like the Rose video version of Johnny, this motivated like boss who wants things to succeed. I think when he didn't have a proper like career, day job, whatever you want to call it, he felt aimless, and you could feel him suffering as a result and not wanting to place roots because he saw this all as temporary. Once he had a proper motivation and something to do day in and day out, again, beyond supporting his own family, I feel like he no longer feels like he's being left behind like he did feel previously. He always felt like everyone else was like flying around him and he was still stuck on the ground. And I do think that now we've reached a point where the motel isn't perfect, but they are getting good reviews. They seem to be improving. Like, it does seem to be going well. And I feel like now he seems much happier. And because of that, it doesn't feel like a competition as much anymore, or at least a competition he's not losing anymore, where he feels more on even ground with the rest of his family. So he can then properly support them better, you know?
Yeah. And I think it will stem from the fact that I feel like he's done things in the right order this time. Like, I feel like before it was Rose Video was a massive success, and like him and Moira like conquered the world. Then they have kids, and the kids are an afterthought. And like now, I feel like it's come this like massive like situation that they're in, is almost like a big reset, and they've learned to function as a family and to appreciate each other and like to live in each other's kind of space and to be aware of each other. And now he like has that solid foundation with them. He then looks to other pastures for like satisfaction elsewhere. Like, he looks for the job, and I think that says a lot about how his earlier attempts at like trying to sort out the business stuff didn't work out. Like the whole like, oh, I've got a desk at Bob's Garage, like. And then like his endeavors, like that was it to franchise like the smoothie company thing that he like a friend of a friend's daughter like had when she like came to visit. Like, none of that seemed to work out, and I think it's all because he still hadn't understood that he needed that foundation first, and now he's got this, and now everything's just almost like clicking into place. And I like how that's kind of worked out in this. It's like, I think it sends a really nice message in that like you don't have to like money and success won't make everything else fall into place. Like, if anything, it will just highlight that like gap is even larger than you probably think it is. And that this is like, no, he's not really had anything to repair, I guess. Well, I mean, they all have, but like it's not so much like they're working through a trauma or something that has to kind of be fixed. It's just more that they are having to learn how to just be normal, I guess. And then once they've kind of nailed that, everything works out, which I like that message.
Yeah. And shout out to Johnny for being just the most normal person in the room of all the Roses, and like having to be the stable force when he's dealing with some real dramatic people at times and some people who really absorb the spotlight. He does a really admirable job at like calming the room down when necessary. So I love him for that. But speaking of other Roses, let's talk about his partner, his wife, Moira Rose, and her journey this season. She kind of comes full circle in terms of The Crows Have Eyes 3. The Crowating is where we start with her. She's on set. We were really impressed with her showing in the Crows movie in terms of taking the scripts and doing rewrites and really like taking something that is kind of a joke, kind of nothing anyone would take seriously, and putting her best foot forward, again, with the support of Johnny saying, if anyone can do it, you can. And she really does take this head on. And I don't know, Stuart, part of me feels like if not for the way the Crows movie goes in the beginning of the season, I feel like that reinvigorated her in a way that allowed her to sink her teeth into cabaret as well.
Like, it got the creative juices flowing almost of like, getting everything kind of backlighting. And like, it's weird because the two are very kind of, I still see them as being very different in terms of Moira's perspectives. I think the Crows Have Eyes is, I still think, and based on her reaction towards the end of the season, I think she still sees that as a ticket out. Like, she's still this character of the family that is still kind of holding on to this whole thing of, well, we need to escape this place. And yeah, she's she's done things to establish hooks and everything, like town council stuff, cabaret, like friendship with Jocelyn and Ronnie and all the Jazzer gals. Like there are these things that she's doing, but I still see them as just her occupying her time. And while I think that, yeah, the Crow's Eyes kind of did get things percolating and kind of got her into the mindset to take on something like Cabaret, I still see Moira as not quite finding that acceptance still. And I don't think she ever will at this point.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. I think whilst a character like Johnny could be comfortable staying in Schitt's Creek and running a motel, you know, for the rest of his life, that's just not who Moira is, right? We in season 1 we find out she's from a small town and like she got out and she didn't want to go back. She likes the glitz and the glam and the big city. I don't think I can fault her for that. That's just her preference. What I will say is I feel like the opportunity to do something like Cabaret would, you know, realistically be available only in a small town to her, you know, to do this sort of a production. And I think doing that really did tie her to the community in a way that she hadn't previously been tied to it. Yes, town councilwoman, yes, friends with Jocelyn, and obviously her becoming a jazz gal was like the biggest step forward in terms of placing down roots. But I feel like her relationship with Stevie specifically, like, it felt like for the first time, Moira was putting someone slightly before herself, right? Like in coaching Stevie to be Sally in Cabaret, she benefited in that she's going to get the accolades in terms of like direction and everything, but Stevie's the one on stage, not her. I think like she got to coach someone, she got to teach someone, and I don't know that we've really seen Moira do anything like that before where it didn't also really benefit her, right? Like in Jazz Gals, she's probably getting the solo, even if she's teaching the other women certain lines or whatever. So it's tough because I don't think, at least for me, I don't know that I would ever expect Moira to be like, I would love to be here forever. I just don't know that that's who she is. I think that'd be like asking her to do something, become someone she's not. But at the same time, in terms of her comfortability and happiness, I feel like we're at an all-time high. Like she's really just cemented her relationships in town and really done a great job at not just connecting with her kids, but then this relationship with Stevie across this season really is something. Like she was able to pull something out of someone when Stevie didn't even know it was there to be pulled out. You know, she was able to really like get Stevie to be like, you can do this. I know you're capable, because she has this very strange way of like, when she compliments you, you have to believe it. Because like the way she does it is so genuine. Like she would never say something she didn't actually think. And if she was just kind of like pumping you up, you'd know it. So yeah, Moira has such an interesting journey this season. And Cabaret is obviously like a big part of it.
Yeah, really, really huge. And like the way in which she's the one to see that kind of like spark in Stevie, I think is what I was trying to get to before, is that her having almost like one leg in Schitt's Creek and then one leg kind of perpetually trying to like feel for like somewhere else to like get out. I feel like is her way of kind of, I don't know, like I don't think anyone else who is bought into Schitt's Creek would see that same kind of like feeling that Stevie is exhibiting. Like Stevie kind of who is experiencing like, I don't want to see everything from behind the desk kind of thing. I don't think anyone else recognizes that in her except for Moira, because Moira's sharing in that experience in some way. Like it's not a direct one for one, but it's the kind of same area of just like, I'm not sure, like I'm destined for just this. And that's kind of Moira's mantra. And so like for her to see that and to recognize it, but also not to kind of hone it in a responsible way of just saying, well, like, we've got a local production of Cabaret on. I think you'd be really good for this role. Like, rather than just saying fly birdie fly and like telling her to get away. Like, I think it's a constructive way. And I don't want to get down on Moira too much for, I think, being the more flighty of all of the Roses. But I think that it's kind of necessary for her to have that perspective that others don't have, because they're all kind of, in a way, accepting things and kind of moving on, and like, which is healthy. I think it's kind of really responsible for them to do. But like, I think it just makes her different from the other Roses in quite a substantial way. I also love the fact that she's not only getting to know Stevie in a much better way, but she's also like, she's spending time with Patrick. She really like adores Patrick. Like, with every time she refers to him, she's like, "You're wonderful, Patrick." Same, Moira, same. Completely agree. But like, I love the fact that she is kind of like, she's not just communicating with the same characters that it used to be. Like, we really, aside from the Roses, it was just Jocelyn and occasionally Roland. Like, even her interactions with Stevie were very fleeting and very kind of like surface level of like complaining about something. And now I feel like we're getting richer experiences from her and conversations, because she is, I don't know, I guess in a way becoming more settled, while also, I'm still going to say, like, still looking for an out. Moira's change has been, I think, the most curious of all the Roses for me. I find her to be fascinating in terms of why she is so different from the rest of them, other than just being her weird self. Do you know what I mean?
She's just Moira. Yeah, she's just Moira. And interestingly enough, I think you're totally right in terms of her character arc and her journey. She's had the most interesting journey in terms of, it is not a straight line up. It is kind of just all over the place most of the time. And we end the season in a really weird place where she finds out the Crows movie has been shelved and has a bit of a breakdown about it. And we leave it on, like, not really a cliffhanger, but kind of a cliffhanger, in that we don't really know what's going to happen with the Crows movie. So I feel like she is at this highest of high when Cabaret goes well, and she thinks the Crows movie is going to be this huge success and really launch her career again. And we end the season on a really down note for Moira. So it'll be interesting to see where she's at in season 6 and kind of how she recovers from this news.
Yeah. I'm worried. I'm worried for Moira. Really am.
Why? She's very reasonable and rational.
I mean, have you ever just had a breakdown hidden in the closet and then like this?
Totally normal. Totally normal.
So high pitched. I don't know.
Yeah.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust. Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers comprehensive auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus, benefits like 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything, from making the claim through the repair process to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits. A $2,000 value, free.
Visit EnduranceWarranty.com for your fast free quote today. That's EnduranceWarranty.com.
All right, let's talk about David. David has quite the season. A lot of it, centering around Patrick, obviously, and their relationship. He helps Patrick find a new apartment. He thinks they're going to move in together. That really wasn't Patrick's plan. Helps him throw a housewarming party, which really feels like it heals some wounds he suffered in high school. I feel like he's kind of like patched things up there a little bit. It was like a weird form of therapy for him. as well as the baseball game that Patrick kind of, twists his arm into doing, that he scores the winning home run. Like, all of these things are really great. We get to see Wendy again, which, I loved. Ridiculous, absolutely insane. Of course, then there's the more like heartwarming and heavier stuff, like meeting Patrick's parents for the first time, Patrick coming out to his parents, and then getting engaged at the end of the season. Like, most of his journey, Stuart, this season is spent around Patrick, which isn't exactly surprising, but I think a little bit different than other seasons where, it's Rose Apothecary, it's the business, like he had a little bit to do with Stevie this season, but I feel like Moira and Johnny had way more scenes with Stevie than David did this season.
Yeah, David's had a mixed one. I think that, like, it's strange because in a way I kind of see it almost in a similar way to Johnny, in that, like, very much David's taken a bit of a backseat to be able to let Patrick shine. Like, Patrick, I think, has taken a lot of the shine that would ordinarily be thrown towards David. And I think that that's impossible without kind of David taking a mild step back. But David has, of all people, I think has had some really kind of profound changes in terms of, like, just acceptance. Like, the way in which David is the one to be in the most, apart from Johnny and Moira, like, probably the most stable relationship in the whole place, is kind of wild when you think about David's personality type, which kind of came out of nowhere. And it's been a real blessing, I think, because I think that it's difficult to be able to talk about David without talking about Patrick. But what Patrick has been able to do is to really soften David a little bit, in terms of David being able to have flaws and for them to not be disastrous and, like, catastrophic, and to lead him to have a bit of a meltdown or a crisis or anything like that. Just have these flaws, and then we're kind of glossing over them quite easily because he's really kind of happy and in a place of acceptance. And I love that. I love that because it means that on one hand, we do kind of have David becoming a bit of a, like, punchline kind of character at times, of, like, I'm going to be annoyed about this, and, like, that's the joke, and then we're going to cut to another scene. That seems like a really kind of simplification of his character. But on the other hand, I think it actually says something a bit more profound and a bit deeper about his character, in that it doesn't happen unless he is in that place of acceptance. And so it comes with all this wider context that you wouldn't be able to get there unless you'd had 6 seasons of, like, character build-up up until that point. So I feel like David's had a really kind of strong season, while not, aside from the proposal, not really doing that much, really.
Yeah, I think a lot of his storyline and growth are very much relationship focused. I think it's less tangible, right? Him opening Rose Apothecary, it is a very evident, there is a physical thing that represents his growth and his, character journey. Yes. Whereas I think these smaller moments, like the housewarming party, feel less significant because they are so small. But I feel like in the grand scheme of things, truly him saying, I now understand why, like, popular people had such a great time at these, like, parties. That's huge for someone like David. This, like, anxious person who I'm certain got picked on, got bullied, got tortured for being so different. I love that he now feels so secure in his relationship that it is Patrick and Alexis are the ones who are upset that Ted kissed David. David is perfectly fine. He's perfectly happy. There are moments that I feel like past David would have lost his mind about. And sure, he's still Moira's child. He still is extra in his reactions to things, but I don't think it no longer beats him down and has him, like, laid up in bed for 3 days, right? Like, he's no longer having panic attacks all the time because he's at a better point in his life. And I think, like, it's harder to see this season because it's in smaller bursts and it's not the central storyline of the season, right? Like I feel like Cabaret is probably more of our central storyline, which doesn't really include David. And so it is a huge thing for him. It's a huge thing for him to be okay with the potential of moving in with Patrick, even though that's not exactly what happened. For him to be the one reaching out to Patrick's parents, like all of these are really huge steps for someone like David, who has quite a tumultuous relationship history. And then getting engaged, like not even just getting engaged, the way in which it happened, like going on a hike and then loving someone so much to be like, no, we're going to finish this, even though you got a stick in your foot and you're injured. I will carry you up this mountain. Like season 1, David could never, like it really is huge for him. So even though there are very small changes happening, I think they're just evidence of a larger change that has happened with this character. And obviously Patrick is a huge part of that. And yeah, like I love David this season. I feel like he actually is incredibly happy for the majority of the season, which probably is the first season that's happened. He's had so many ups and downs in other seasons. And this one, it feels like he's mostly just vibing, which is great.
Yeah, it really is. Like he has downs in this season, but they're not the worst things to happen. Like I'm thinking about like when obviously Wendy turned up and there was fake David.
He got robbed, which wasn't great.
Yeah. They got robbed, for example, and still that was quite entertaining. Can you imagine season 1 David as well, of like going along with Stevie to a hotel and then realizing that you're third wheeling? And season 1 David would have like stormed off, would have like had to like lock themselves in the room probably and not come out. Instead, we get David like going to the bar and singing Mariah on karaoke for Tammy. I think
Tammy. Yeah, Tammy. Yeah. Do you want some champagne?
Like we never would have got that before. And so yeah, it's like you said, it's these small moments that kind of really kind of invite us into this kind of wider storytelling that's going on of just a character that is comfortable being them. And I think that I don't need, again, like with Johnny, I don't need peril to be kind of like dangled above them, and like I don't need David to go through strife at this point. I feel like I've earned what we've earned, a chance to just be happy. Like I don't know how you can't. Every time like David comes on and is just happy, I'm grin from ear to ear. It's just a wonderful thing to watch.
Yeah. And so even though it doesn't feel like David had a massive storyline devoted to him beyond, again, the engagement, I do think like this is just evidence of a larger change within this character in a really impressive way. And Dan Levy obviously is incredible at playing David. It's just, I love him so much. Let's move on to talking about Alexis here, the youngest Rose. Alexis's story this season is also quite interesting because while last season was mostly devoted to her feelings for Ted and her going to college and like trying to get back together with Ted and all that stuff, here she's in a very stable relationship with Ted. Like they have their moments where they bicker, right? Like him saying he kept things she gave him from their relationship, her giving away everything he's ever got her. They have some moments, but you never feel like they're at risk of breaking up. Right? They feel incredibly stable.
Nothing substantial,
Think about that. Think about the fact that all of our major characters are never in real relationship trouble this season and how impressive that is, because it is so easy to write a storyline where someone's in danger of breaking up. And that obviously Stevie has one, but none of the Roses do, which is pretty incredible and impressive and also just bold, I would say, to not fall back on that.
Yeah, I think it would have been so easy to have after like a whole season of like almost in a way of the will they won't they with Ted, to go back on that and to make that a thing of drama. And it's nice that they don't go to the easy thing, and they don't just toy with us. They don't cheapen what Alexis went through in terms of the growth. Like if that had immediately gone to shit, I would have been really kind of angry, because I'd have been like, well, why have Alexis go through all of that growth to almost earn Ted's attention once more, like for Ted to kind of realize that she has substantially changed and to give her that other chance? Why would you even think to take that away from them when it's so earned? I would have been, I'd been so pissed. And it's nice to see that in this season, like, it has been a source of stability. I will say, though, I think Alexis has had a bit of a stinker of a season. Not gonna lie, I feel like what has she
really
done?
Interesting. Yeah, let me defend her. I think it's similar to David in that they are small moments that to me just add up. So the first being, she helps the motel, right? She's the one who gets Amir there. It has this entire plan for the plant. And I mean, yeah, the plan is like a silly plan, but like at the same point in time, she is the one who is like, this is what we can offer. We're, and this is not the first time that she has helped the motel. It seems like she is really trying to start her business of, this is my job. And she's not just like resting on that, because she's also helping Moira, not only with like the marketing and stuff for Cabaret, but getting people to attend it, right? Like getting it to be a huge show. She has press calling Moira about it. All of these things feel pretty significant in terms of she's starting her own business. That can be incredibly difficult, especially because you have to be self-motivated to actually get out there. And yeah, sure, we can say like these are her parents and like nepotism and whatever, but she's actually really good at this. So I don't even know that you can, you know what I mean? I wouldn't even call it that, because she's so talented at what she's actually doing. And then on top of that, so that's like professional growth. I feel like personal growth, maybe it's smaller in terms of it's not across the entire season. It's not her trying to change to get back together with Ted. It's not drawn out. It kind of happens in a single episode. But her deciding, Ted has done so much for me, it is my turn to be selfless and agree to go to the Galapagos with him. I know that's like one thing, but it is a big thing for Alexis to do, because she doesn't really know it. She's under the assumption, she's under some wrong assumptions about exactly where they'll be going. She'd rather go almost anywhere else, like some beach and lay out. She is giving up not only some job opportunities, right? Moira says like, oh, there's Cabaret and blah, 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 and they want to work with you. She's giving up that. She's giving up obviously closest to her family. She says she's afraid. She's going to be homesick. She's going to miss her family. And she's giving up like where she is comfortable for the unknown. And we know she's traveled a lot, but she traveled with money, right? Which is very different than traveling with no money. And I just think it's really huge for this character. I think it's a little understated. I don't think it's as flashy as some of the other things that have happened. But between the steady amount of work that she's been doing, obviously performing in Cabaret is very fun. It's a little bit of a side thing, but also just being incredibly selfless with Ted. I think that's a huge character growth for her, when usually, God, he gives up so much for her constantly. For her to be the one to recognize that like he does that, and to be the first one, it's not really him, because he's the one who's like, no, I'm going to turn it down. She recognizes he wants this. She goes to Twyla to talk this out with someone and comes to the realization of, oh, you know what? I probably should give something up for him. And all of that, not just like the recognition itself, and then the acting on that recognition of what she should be doing, feel really significant for me for Alexis.
I guess I would, yeah. I mean, I do recognize that. I guess for me, I think it's because I'm very skeptical of this whole trip for what it means for their relationship. And I still see that, like, I feel like some almost like seeds have been planted in terms of Alexis's blind spot that she has for like her own self-awareness at times. Like a little bit of Alexis in the audition, like the conversations with Twyla where she still doesn't quite get that she's being patronized at times. And it happens quite a lot. And I think that alongside her dropping, I guess, and making a sacrifice of her own progression for a guy, I'm like, it just that for me just isn't gelling
Sure.
together. And I'm not saying that like it isn't just like it's really reductive for me to say, oh, she's just dropping everything for a guy, because it's
Ted.
not that.
Yeah,
it's Ted.
it's someone she loves. It's not what was it? What was not Stefano? What the hell was the guy's name in the very first episode? That she was gonna run off with, and he was supposed to be picking her up or whatever, right?
Stavros,
that might be it. Like he is someone she loves, so I think there's a difference there. Yeah, I could see where you're coming from. I just think like it's quiet, right? Like the fact that she is consistently working throughout this season. It's not as big and flashy as like graduating from college and getting back together with Ted. Those are more like big moments. I just think she's had some really great steady progression, and obviously a little bit Alexis just brings me so much joy that it will factor in because it is so funny. It is so funny. It is one of my favorite moments in the entire series. And I just admire someone who has such unearned confidence, like the most confidence in themselves. Like just so self-assured. I love her for it. So yeah, I don't know. I think I disagree. I do think Alexis has had a strong season. I just think it's a little more understated than some of our other characters.
Yeah, and I could be bringing some judgment into it. I just think that if like when I compare her with David, and this is an unfair judgment, it's that, like, we see David's success in the form of brick and mortar in a store, like, and a relationship, and I looked at Alexis's work, and it's just odd jobs for her parents, and I'm like, it just doesn't feel as important or as self-earned because of that. But then also we are shackled by the location. Like, she is a victim of that. And also, like, they are the people offering work. And I feel like she has earned it. Like, she's not getting it because of nepo like reasons. She's getting it because she is the most qualified person to do it. But it just all doesn't add up to like a great look. And I think if I am doing the comparison with David, I'm like, well, I feel like David's stronger in that aspect because of the separation of everything.
Yeah, I also think she suffers a bit because in terms of relationship progression and in her relationship with Ted, I really feel like we barely saw Ted this season. And we see Patrick pretty much every episode. Like, he's a main character in his own right at this point. And I do think that hurts Alexis's character progression, or at least the optics of it, because he's just so absent. So I think it's not as visible. We're not getting the chemistry between those characters as much. When they're together, of course we do, right? Like, Ted has to Galapagos now. Like, it's very cute. It's adorable. The hey big guy, right? Like, those are some of the best Ted moments, but he's just not around as much. And I think that those two characters are so electric together. They have such great chemistry that not having him around as much, I do think kind of hurts Alexis's character journey ever so slightly, in terms of it's a matter of inches when you're doing these rankings, right? Like, I think those sorts of things can hurt Alexis.
Yeah.
Speaking of character rankings, this was by far the hardest season to do this for. I really struggled. And I do think probably I would say my top 3-ish could fluctuate completely. They could switch positions on any given day. Same with the middle tier. I could see myself rearranging those. The bottom tier is what it is. But this was impossible, Stuart. Did you struggle as much as me to do this time?
No, I did it in such quick time. Yeah, I'm as much as you say that you want them, like, that might fluctuate, I'm gonna tell you they're not.
They're locked in. I know.
Got them locked in. So we've got a chart, and we're going
even throughout this podcast, I was like, what if I switched something last minute though?
I think I might have cried because this little way in which I've done it. Okay, so it's taken us like we're on the 5th season. I only today made it so that it will make my job better next season
for one more season that we have.
Yeah, and I was like, why didn't I do this 3 seasons ago? Like, what the hell am I doing? What am I learning? But yeah, we got 13 positions. Jess tried to make it 12, and I fought valiantly.
Yeah, and I'll say
someone
who it was.
That she missed, and we'll get onto that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we do have a visual up. If you would like to check us out on YouTube, you can see what we're looking at here. Should we start at 13?
Yes.
Okay.
So, bottom of the barrel. We've gone with different options.
Oh,
I believe. I'm trying to remember. This is the thing. I can't see them either the way I've done it. So 13th. You've gone with Roland and I've gone with Ray.
Yeah. Interesting. Roland drove me nuts this season. I feel like it was a return to, I don't know, season 2, 3 Roland. He just said things that annoyed me most of the time. He interrupted some of the like warm and fuzzy moments, and that irritated me. Roland just got under my skin this season, and so he's at the very bottom of the barrel. I can't even say I'm sorry because I'm not.
I feel like Roland had some redeeming moments. Whereas for me, Ray is bottom of the barrel because Ray has no respect for boundaries. Just walks in without knocking.
Yes. The only reason I didn't put Ray this low was because I was like, well, he did offer to make them breakfast when he was constantly barging into the room.
Is that all it takes, Jess? Is the offer of breakfast?
I really like eggs. So that was really nice. I think it's also because for some reason Ray makes me laugh more than Roland does. Like Ray's comedy just makes me laugh more than Roland's does. Like I love when he's doing the apartment tour and he like goes into the bathroom behind the curtain. Like I don't know why. I just found it was very funny. Him calling the closet. What does he say? It's a stand-in closet, like instead of a walk-in closet. Like such stupid stuff. But yeah, Ray made me laugh more than Roland did, so I moved him up higher.
Wild.
You're gonna be
I feel like you're gonna.
Yeah,
I know. I feel like you're gonna earn the ire of a lot of listeners as well.
Yeah.
You've gone with Jocelyn.
I did.
This is horrendous.
And I'm not mad about it. I'll defend it.
So Ray was not going to be included. I shouted at Jess. I was like, no, we had him in the last one. We should have him in this one as well. And yet you still told me to put him higher than Jocelyn. This is outrageous.
Yeah, and I will defend myself here. While my argument for Ray not being in it was he's barely around. Like in the beginning of the season, he shows up quite a number of times and then he just disappears and he never shows back up. Whereas Jocelyn is around way more. She's a bigger character, but by God, she irritated me time and time again. Her and that freaking baby. It's like, oh, just because I have a baby, everybody's lives revolve around me now. Like she can't make the Jazz Gals practice, whatever the heck they call it, rehearsal. And like it's all because of the baby, but it's no one's fault but your own, Jocelyn. You chose to have a baby. Like your life is gonna change a little bit. And then the when they go away to the casino, I connect with her on the like, you know, I don't feel as old as I am sort of a thing. But that haircut is so bad. It's so bad. And she throws a hissy fit and like really just rips everyone in the Jazz Gals to shreds. And I know she's tired, but girly pop, like calm down. Don't be rude to Twyla. Twyla's like the nicest person on the planet. So everything she did, I feel like when she did show up, she actively irritated me versus Ray did some bad stuff, but he also made me laugh and he was not around as much to piss me off. And one more thing Jocelyn did that I'll never forget. David is trying to announce incredible personal news of his engagement. And her and her freaking husband, who's at the bottom of the list, interrupt it. And like, you're engaged. We know, but let him say it, ma'am. Let him say it. I just can't. Jocelyn pissed me off this season. And she's where she belongs.
Wild. Wild.
Why did you put it 11th?
I'm not dramatically disagreeing, though. It's all much of a muchness. They're all at the bottom, all three of them.
Good. Yeah, we have the same three at the bottom. I have Ray in 11th, and you have Jocelyn in 11th.
Yeah, I can't get on with like Justin this season. Like she's had a stinker of one. She's been so like I think ever since the election for town council, I'm like Jocelyn's just gone down, which is so sad because she's a lovely character, and I like the fact that she does like when she gets annoyed with someone and like she'll say something like under her breath kind of thing. I think that's great, but like if she was constantly nice all the time, I think it'd be so jarring and grating. But yeah, she's had some real choice moments this season, and really I will say is the one kind of like I guess forgiving thing, it really contextualizes why she's with Roland. Like I feel like that makes so much more sense now, which is kind of crazy and not a great thing.
Also her trying to get Alexis to like babysit for her by being like, remember when you said you'd do anything for me? Oh, grinds my gears when people do that. It really does. Because just say what you want, like just spit it out. Because this is a thing that happens. See, my brother does this shit to me. Like he not exactly like this, but he'll do the thing of like, oh, what are you doing Saturday? It's like, just tell me what you want. Just tell me what's happening on Saturday. Don't play like you're just trying to see what I'm up to, because you're not. You don't care what I'm doing on Saturday. Anyway, wow. I just can't stand. Just be blunt. Just be open. Stop it.
Now this is the point where I'm forgetting where I've put people and where you've put people. I can't preview this, so this is going to be a wild thing. 10th, we've got Twyla for you. Why?
Twyla's good, not great. I think the only like standout moments for her usually involve Alexis and their heart-to-hearts, which are nice and lovely. I do appreciate their friendship. I just think when it comes to these side characters, generally speaking, I'm looking for comedy over heartfelt, and I thought Twyla was okay, but she wasn't the best. There were other characters that made me laugh more in terms of side character moments.
See, I went with Bob. Mostly because similar thing. What the heck has Bob done? Like, I feel like all of the comedy.
Do you not remember the jog and the withering stare? Because it happened.
One jog does not make a summer. I will just say. I feel like 99% of the comedy of Bob is Gwen, and so just give me Gwen. Like I'm not giving Bob points for that.
I think that the Gwen storyline stuff also just happens through Bob a lot of the time, and it always cracks me up. Him coming in and doing his audition and being like, I cleared my entire day for this. Like, I just go off, King. Go off. Like, you've got this, bud. I believe in you. I love him. I love his withering stare. I can't help it. Okay. I'm only human.
Outrageous. Not dramatically different though. You got Bob in the next one up, so it's not like it's dramatically higher. I remember with Ronnie, similar kind of vibe. I felt like Ronnie at times was a bit of a piece of shit. Occasionally,
but in the best way. She's the best piece of shit around.
I mean, like Patrick was being really neurotic. I will give Ronnie that, but still, detect that someone's anxious about something, Ronnie. Like, there's no need to be as much of a dick.
No, he was being overbearing. I appreciated that she was like, I work on my time, not yours. Like her shit talking at the baseball game, loved it. Her reading Johnny for filth about his shitty ass jokes, adored it. Like, I think Ronnie is hysterical, and I love that she suffers no fools. I love that for her. So, I mean, yeah, not drastically different. Well, as we'll see in the next slot, but I think Ronnie is pretty great.
Yeah, next slot. You've gone with Ronnie.
I have.
Oh my Ted.
Unfortunate for Ted. Yeah.
This
Bad luck for
is
Ted.
outrageous, and I think Ted's lowest placement for me in the entire thing, because I feel like it's well deserved. Ted was a bit of a douche with the way in which he raised the whole trip thing, quite almost like gaslighty in a way, and so yeah, Ted's not had the strongest one, and he's gonna Galapagos out of our lives on this trip, so. Buddy, like I miss, but saying that, I am forgetting the housewarming. Big guy. He was such a good episode for Ted.
But it's one episode, that's the tough part. I agree with you. I think it's unfortunate. I love Ted. I really do. But he is so absent this season. And when he is around, we do get like the moments like big guy, and we get the the very funny moment when Alexis and him have sex at Rose Apothecary, and he is like giddy. He is giddy about it. And it's adorable, and I crack up every time.
When he can't role play, he's just like those really distracting.
He's like, I'm just getting distracted. I love Ted, but unfortunately he's not around much, and it makes it hard to justify putting him above any of our main characters. Like when you have characters like all of the Roses and then Patrick and Stevie, you cannot realistically put Ted above them because he's so absent. So I understand the placement.
Yeah, it's a hard I guess stratosphere to reach into and stuff like that. Which explains why we kind of finish up with the sides and stuff. You've got Ted in 7th. I've got Twyla in 7th. Again, much for muchness. I think that I put Twyla quite higher than you have, mostly because I think that Twyla hasn't done anything bad. Whereas I feel like for me, Ted did do a bad thing. Ronnie's been has been bad at times. Bob's just been Bob. And so I'm like, Twyla, every time she's on the screen, I feel like she always makes me chuckle. She doesn't really make me belly laugh. But she was also in Cabaret, and she was very good at Cabaret as well. Sure. So I'm going to give her some extra points for that.
Sure. I guess I just this is just a proof of concept of how my brain works, where it's like, oh, they did that one bad thing, but they were so funny here. So I'm just going to choose to look at that one really funny thing. The big guy stuff, you know what I mean? Like that for me outweighs anything Twyla ever did the whole season. Again, she had really lovely conversation with Alexis, but yeah, I get it. I mean, I think this all pretty much tracks to me. We're not incredibly different. Mostly Twyla is our biggest difference here, but yeah, on to the main cast, if you will.
The main cast. So let me see. Wait a minute. Hold on.
We are at number 6 on our list.
Let's get to the top. Okay, so number 6. We're into the main group.
Main crew.
And we agree.
Wow.
Johnny at number 6.
Yeah, listen, I love Johnny. I really wish I could put him higher than this. It's really hard because some other characters just popped off in bigger ways. But it is a tight race at the top here, people. Johnny could be higher than this. If I could see him moving up 1 or 2 slots depending on how I was feeling on the day.
Yeah, I was just thinking he came very close to being 5th. For me, it was very tight, but I feel like it's okay for him to be that supportive guy, and I think I think for Johnny to be 6th, it's a strong 6th. That's what I'm gonna say. Yeah. I see you looking off to the side.
Yes, because my husband is glaring at me. He heard me say the name Johnny. He lifted off the headphones that he had on his head and glared at me, and then sighed. Insane.
That's so funny.
Anyway, let's look at number 5.
5, Moira. Oh! We're in agreement.
I'm
here.
Shocked.
Yeah. I feel like Moira for me has had a good season in some aspects. Has had real. I think it's hard to say she's had a really great season because I still find her having that kind of that flighty kind of aspect to her, to be the thing that is always going to drag her down. And of course, she ended with the Crows Have Eyes being shelved, and so like she ended on a bit of a dud there. Moira's been so funny. Like if we look back at the season opener of The Croning, like funniest opener for like the longest time. And so like she is just a delight as always. But yeah, I feel like there are just other characters that have had stronger season than her. I think that's her problem, is that she's surrounded by great a great ensemble.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think Moira is, I mean, this isn't who's the most unique character or who made us laugh the most, you know, because Moira is absolutely hysterical. It's just when we're talking character growth and character progression and kind of how that, what kind of a season they've had, unfortunately, Moira's going to fall to 5th, but it is incredibly tight. It's a tight competition. It's really, really tough to move up from this spot. Because I think the next 4 that we have here are, in my opinion, very, very, it's a really, it's tough. It's a really close race. I know who you're going to have in 4th. I know it right now. I already know.
Yeah, I'm going with Alexis.
I knew it. Yeah. I knew it. Yeah. Do we want to do, I have Patrick. I put Patrick in 4th. I think he has a great season. Don't get me wrong. I think Cabaret, coming out to his parents, the engagement, all of these things are massive things for him. I also think he has some not so great moments. And I say this as a Patrick stan, okay? I will never fail to comment.
He got some LVP points like this season. It's
he did. Yeah.
Crazy.
It's not great. I will never fail to mention when he wears blue, because it's a requirement. But he doesn't have, he has some really not so great moments. Some of which are the robbery. He's really like not great about that because they did get robbed, Patrick. I don't care what you say. I think, you know, the coming out story is very tricky because while I think on one hand you're like, yes, it's a great story. It's so emotional. It's incredible. There's also that part of you that's like, oh God, he didn't tell his parents about David. Like that sucks for David. Like you can't deny that that did not hurt David's feelings and that should be taken into account. And then of course, like, I feel like he's a shitty customer to Ronnie. Like I think he's really testing his limits there. And so again, like I love Patrick. I just think this was as high as I could because he has some really high highs, but has some not great moments that I don't think any of these other characters quite hit those lows that he hits. And it's a matter of inches at this point, right? Like, so that's why I have Patrick in 4th.
Yeah, I wouldn't put Alexis for what we just talked about with like how that character kind of wrap up. I feel like if I were to compare this to last season, I feel like she's certainly not had as much growth. And so I kind of wanted to put characters who are higher that have had either more growth or I think more substantial moments that have maybe kind of just, I guess, take note, really. Like, I feel like, I don't want to say that Alexis, like, is a side character because she certainly isn't. Like, I feel like she kind of trod that line a little bit.
La, 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 la.
Again, a little bit Alexis doesn't make a summer. Like, it's just, she can have a standout moment like that. But then again, I feel like you have to be consistent. And I feel like this season, others have had just better consistency when it comes to more substantial stories been involved. But 3rd, you've gone with David?
I have. This top 3 is where I struggled the most. Because I really think there's an argument for any one of these 3 characters to be number 1. David, again, we talked a lot about this already, but like David has a lot of growth this season in terms of like, you know, big flashy moments like getting engaged and winning the baseball team, right? Like I think he's more of the focal point of some of these storylines more so than Alexis is. But I just think like it's a game of inches. And I feel like David is more so building on prior storylines and prior connections, prior relationships. And we also, I think you can't deny a lot of his growth and progress and storylines are associated with Patrick. So it's really tough to then separate those two. Whereas Alexis, I think, carries more of her own storyline and has less tangible evidence of, improving. But I do think like she's self-starting more so this season, whereas David started Rose Apothecary like last season. It's really hard. It's a game of inches. But I did end up putting David third. The top three was where I struggled the absolute most. And this is evidence of that.
Some good justifications for why you put Alexis a second and I put David second as well. I feel like, David has had some really strong moments. I feel like, that he's been, in a way, I'm kind of marking him higher than I have Johnny, but for a very similar thing. It's like they've been great kind of sounding off characters for others to kind of like flourish a little bit more. But I don't want to dwell on this too much. We've already talked about like the roses in quite a lot of detail. Let's get to the start of the show, shall we? Our number one, and I think this was like so not a question. Like it was the quickest decision I've made. Stevie Budd gets number one. This is Stevie's season, right? Like it totally is.
Yeah, I'm so happy we're in agreement on this. I was fairly certain you would put Stevie at number one. It wasn't as easy for me to make this decision, though. Like I said, I think there's an argument for David, Alexis, or Stevie to all take the crown. But, and I tried, my biggest question to myself was, is this like recency bias because of the finale, right? Like, is it her solo that is in my head? And the more I revisited the season on my rewatch, I realized, no, she has incredible growth throughout the whole season. Like, obviously everything going on with Amir, she really puts herself out there. And yes, it doesn't work out, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be giving her points for trying to make things work and really going out on a limb for a person in a way that she never would have done before. And on top of that, her connections with Johnny and Moira, like when we think Johnny might be sick and she has this like breakdown about like, what if something happens to him, right? Like her crying about that, her connection to David when he gets engaged and the towels, right? Like the towels. And then of course, the entire conversation with Moira prior to her going on stage and then the actual solo itself, like this season felt like Stevie found herself in a way that she hadn't previously. And she is finally kind of tiptoeing, dipping her toe in the water of like what the world has to offer her outside of the receptionist at the motel, outside of owning the motel. Because I guess she owned it last season too. But like this season, it felt like she was more than just that job. And she actually put herself out there in ways that we never would have imagined prior to the season. Like you never would have imagined Stevie is the lead in Cabaret, never in a million years.
No, never. And I think that Stevie's arc this season has been so wonderfully set up because like we get Stevie having a triumph early on. You think, okay, well that's Stevie's thing done and dusted. Like she gets with Amir. She gets a nice, like, the relationship going on. She's got a nice setup. And thus, that's going to be Stevie, and we probably won't hear much from her for the remainder. And then we find out that Amir is a colossal dickhead. And she is so well supported by the family that you're there going, okay, well, this is wonderful, and it's a great way of kind of acknowledging that. And then you get the further acknowledgement of Moira offering Cabaret because she sees that in Stevie. And then Stevie, after going through all the rehearsals, the self-doubt, the whole like kind of triumph of the performance, brings it back to the heart of things by giving David such a wonderful gift and a thoughtful gift that reminds us of where we were in season one and how far we've come from that point. I think that's using Stevie as a vessel for almost like placing down a milestone and saying, look, we've just taken the grouchy receptionist from season one and we've made her like Sally Bowles in Cabaret and she knocked it out of the park. Like, tell me that there isn't a better way of just like kind of highlighting that massive growth that has happened for their own characters, and almost being a little bit of a self-congratulatory pat on the back for the writing. It's so great to see, and I think that the way in which it's been performed, like, we haven't lost the heart of who Stevie is. Like, Stevie is still making wisecracks. Stevie is still like off to the side, kind of making very kind of judgmental kind of faces at times. I love the fact that we've had that growth, but we've not lost the heart of who they are. Like, it's not been a rewrite of the character. It's just been an embellishment of what was there the whole time. This season has been a delight, purely for Stevie for me. I think that I'm always going to think of season 5 as being Stevie's season because of everything that's gone on, and to be able to say that alongside episodes like the Croning and a little bit of Alexis is staggering to say in terms of like an achievement. So if Stevie isn't number 1, I would be outraged. If I'm honest.
For me, it was the cabaret of it all was really the tipping point, because yes, Alexis and David had like better maintenance seasons in terms of like they've already had such exponential growth, and then maintaining that and slowly going up a little bit more. Stevie really just like burst out of her shell this season in ways we haven't seen before. Like, how many times have we seen Stevie cry in this season alone? Not that that's a sign of anything in particular, but like, she feels so much for these other people that she's tearing up, right? Like, she's welling up hearing that Patrick and David are engaged and finding out that Patrick asked her for her blessing. Like, all of that is so sweet, and like just proof that this character is forever tied to this family, and not out of obligation or proximity, but because she is so entrenched in their lives and hers. Like, it's lovely, and I'm really pleased with Stevie this season. What a great season for Stevie.
Yeah.
All right. Well, those are our character rankings. Let's go through the MVP and LVP of the season. So obviously, we can give out our MVPs and LVPs to whoever we want. I think pretty easy for me to say that I think Stevie is the real simply the best of the season. I don't know, Stuart, I assume that's going to be your answer as well.
100% Stevie. Yeah.
Do you have guesses as to who actually earned the most simply the best points across the season? It's not a runaway.
Really? Okay. I wonder if that's because negative points brought him down. I'm possibly leaning David or Patrick.
Okay. Yeah, David is the winner with 6 points, but actually in second place is Johnny with 4.
Really?
Yeah, Patrick has 3. And the reason is that Patrick lost a point along the way, as did Johnny actually. David never got any negative points, which I think really helped him. Stevie surprisingly didn't have as many as I would have thought, but it's because she got some negative points in housewarming and Rock On.
Yeah, I think I docked her a point for being on her phone all through housewarming, right? Yeah.
Yep. So she lost some points there. As for the LVP of the season, I mean, I'm gonna say mine is Roland. I don't know if you think Ray. Are you gonna put Ray there?
I'll go Roland as well. Like you said, like Ray hasn't been around as much. I will rank Ray lower. But really, if we're talking about like who's had a large enough LVP impact, I'll say Roland.
And do you have any guesses as to who the LVP is of the season? Who's a disgruntled Pelican?
Moira, maybe?
Nah, it's Roland, and it's a long shot. Roland had negative 11.5 points.
Oh my god.
He did worse than last season, which he had negative 10. He never once got a positive point. Every point he earned was negative. Moira had 2 points.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've given her negatives for a lot, but maybe I'm thinking of other seasons.
She only got negatives from both of us in the dress. Other than that, she only earned positive points. Jocelyn had negative 1.5 because you're a monster. Ronnie ended up with -1. Ray ended up with -2, and Amir, of course, ended up with -2 as well. Obviously, because
if I got my way.
Exactly. Like, he only shows up in a few episodes, so he doesn't have as many opportunities. But those are our LVPs and MVPs. Season rankings, I feel, are pretty easy. I'm continuing with the trend of it gets better and better every time. Season 5 is number 1 for me, and then 4, 3, 2, 1.
Same, big same. Season 5 absolutely is. As I said earlier on, like people said, it gets better and better. It's getting better and better. So season 5 has been a knockout.
Okay, it's time. What everyone's been waiting for. We're an hour and 17 minutes in the podcast, and everyone's been waiting to get to the point where we talk about what you predicted for season 5. So let's see how many predictions you got correct. Your first prediction was David loses a hand, in parentheses, just in case.
Yes, this kind of harkens back to a jokey prediction that I kind of made before. I'm still waiting.
The next one was the Jazzagals record an album.
That would have been good.
It didn't happen, but I would like that. That would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
You had Jazzagal Fest, which is some sort of big performance. They didn't have a big performance. There was a big performance. Maybe I'd give you like a half a point if I'm being generous.
No, that's too generous. I'm totally off on
that. Schitt Fest, some sort of festival in town.
I will take a point for this. I feel like this is close enough, right?
Cabaret, I think, is close enough. You had Ted and Alexis Simmer.
Yeah, so like they're gonna stop the whole like honeymoony type thing, and they'll simmer down.
Okay.
I think that's what I meant by that.
They're a pretty steady couple, if that's what that means.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, that's
David and Patrick move in together. This is incorrect, but you said maybe a proposal. Correct.
Maybe a proposal. I'm clinging on to that, and I feel like they haven't officially moved in together.
Not
like
yet.
David wanted to. So
he did want to. But he also hated that bathroom with the curtain.
Yeah.
Someone from Johnny's past makes an appearance related to financials. I don't think anybody from Johnny's past showed up.
Nope. Sadly not.
An STI breaks out in town.
They might have.
Never know. Mystery, scandalous and salacious. They find buried treasure. I don't remember you making this prediction. That's hilarious.
Making that with us.
And then we went. So then you were like, well, maybe if David doesn't lose a hand, Bob will lose a hand. Surprisingly, everyone's hands remained intact. And then the easiest prediction is Moira is going to be in The Crows Have Eyes. Ding ding. We have a winner.
Ding ding.
Yeah,
okay.
four correct predictions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now it's time to find out. Stuart, what are your predictions for the final season of the show?
Okay.
I'm ready.
David and Patrick are going to get married.
Okay.
Oh god, this is like, oh my god, no, because I have to think about how I think it's going to end.
Yeah.
And I'm getting, oh no, it's got upset. Gosh.
Anybody losing a hand?
Okay. Gwen's gonna lose a hand.
Listen, she almost got electrocuted if not for that rubber dress.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. Gosh. Okay. Serious things. I think
so serious.
Ted and Alexis are gonna break up.
Okay.
What else is gonna happen?
Do you have any predictions on The Crows Have Eyes?
Like a Kickstarter? Like I feel like that was like big around the time that this was released. Maybe they like Kickstarter it to like get it back to start. Maybe like Alexis takes on the marketing for it or something and does something around that.
Okay.
Yeah. So like somehow it sees the light of day, becomes a cult classic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll have that. Something to do with the motel. Maybe like they get a big buyout. Maybe they make loads of money from that. Maybe.
Okay. Big buyout of motel and make loads of money.
Yeah, because I think like surely you're gonna have to win this with them using like Schitt's Creek, right? So like I think probably all into that.
The family chooses Schitt's Creek.
Would they though? Because Moira. Yeah, let's go with the family chooses Schitt's Creek, but I'm like maybe brackets. Moira, maybe I don't know. Maybe Johnny and Moira, maybe they take the money and run, or something. I don't know.
Okay.
God, I feel like I should have some more outlandish ones. These are really kind of sensible. Let's go.
What's the big story of the season? What's the big story? Yeah.
Ooh, big story. Stevie leaving.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe Stevie gets scouted from her performance.
Oh, for Cabaret?
Yeah. And maybe like an agent signs her up and like she gets a gig doing something. And maybe like Moira coaches her for like an audition or something. I don't know. Like maybe that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Any other prediction?
He's so wrong. I'm trying to think of one that's not going to be like just outrageously stupid, but also I kind of want to throw in an outrageously
stupid stuff. It's the final season.
No, let's lean into ones that we've already been talking about. Something Gwen that's not losing a hand. I'm going to say it comes out. Bob and Gwen divorce, split up, or whatever like that. There's something going on there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's it. I think that's what we've got to do.
Those are the predictions for next season. So we'll see what happens. We've already talked to the next, the premiere for season 6 is Smoke Signals.
I have no
nothing
idea.
Away. Yeah, it really doesn't give anything away. So we'll see how that episode is next week when we return to cover it in the final season. We're in the final stretch of Schitt's Creek.
No.
I can't believe it.
How many episodes are there? There are 14 episodes.
There are 14, and then there's a special.
There's a special, yeah.
So there's 15, and then we'll do like a wrap up. Yeah. So 16 episodes of the podcast left, basically. If we do nothing after that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
We've also got a bonus episode. We
do have to do a bonus episode about a mighty wind or something. Is it
a mighty wind?
A mighty wind. So we'll be in talks on when we're going to do that and get it released. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's everything we have, Stuart.
God.
Okay. All right. Well,
we're 5/6 of the way through.
Maths. Maths. We're best at it. Okay. Well, next week we'll come back with the season 6 premiere. And until then, everyone, warmest regards.
And best wishes.
Member Week is here at Lowe's. Don't miss your chance to get up to 40% off hundreds of items like paint, faucets, vanities, doors, and more. Shop our exclusive deals happening in-store and online now through July 18th. Not a member? Join My Lowe's Pro Rewards for free today and get ready to save more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.